You wonder what happened in sports today. Brandon PETRILLI, he got the wave. We talking a lot with bros today. Cracking some jokes the podcast way. Goals on goals, with homers on homers, tutties on tutties. Got moments on moments. Just tune into BSP. Just tune into BSP. Just tune into BSP. Just tune into PETRILLI.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Huge win for the Philadelphia Sixers, baby. Play the song. Play the song. I may or may not have listened to this song about 15 times already before I hopped on for the recording. I just want to win. What a win. Earlier today, hung out, or yesterday before the game, went down to South Philadelphia with Anthony Gargano and Andrew Salchunas. We got rid of the demons. We got the bagster, the dumpster in the bag, and we threw the tea. We threw the Larry Bird jerseys, the cards, everything to get the bad juju out of this series. And it worked, baby. It worked for game one, at least. Because James Harden absolutely dominated. It was vintage James Harden. 45 points, making threes. James Harden nailing a three over Al Horford for the go-ahead. Just beautiful. Tell me something more beautiful than that. It was a struggle all day long. Struggle all day long. Is Embiid going to play? Everybody's nervous. Kind of getting white-knuckly a little bit. You're like, oh, come on, Joel. You're going to play, right? But you knew they still had a chance. You knew they still had a chance without him. Now, it wasn't a great one, obviously. But it was because you had a guy that you traded a bum for in Ben Simmons, and you brought in a superstar. A superstar. That's what superstars do. That's what James Harden did. He said, to all the haters. He said, I am the guy. I still got this. And he was methodical at times. He was slow. He's not the James Harden of old, but he's crafted that little go around, pick and roll back into the guy, maybe give a pass or just pull up and hit that two-pointer. He was money all day long. When he's hitting that, he's hard to stop. He was getting a little between the legs at the top of the key, pull up, step back, James Harden, iconic, double step back three in your mitt. The guy was just hitting on all cylinders, and he knew he had to do it. We all knew he had to do it for them to have a chance to win this game, and he did it. That's all you can say. I mean, man, what a great weekend. Philadelphia sports. I thank you all for tuning in another episode of the BSP podcast. But, Eagles absolutely nailed the draft. We'll get into that a little bit later in the week. We had to talk Sixers here, right? Obviously. I mean, if you want a little bit of draft coverage, go check out Cold One Conversations and check out my Twitter. Did a 3-hour live show during the first round of the draft. It was so much fun. Had guys like Anthony Gargano, Ray Dunn on, the Guru hopped on, Philly Brandon, hopped on too with my boy Harry Heaps. It was a good time, so go check that out if you want a little bit more Eagles coverage. We'll get into that moving forward, but that was awesome. Phillies took 2 out of 3 from Houston. If they would have swept them, I was ready to send out the tweets. I think we actually won the World Series. There's no way that you could tell me that Houston Astros did not cheat in that World Series if the Phillies swept. But a good weekend, and the Sixers come out strong to start this week, get a huge dub up in Boston after they were railing, where they choked. And that's what the city of Boston is now. They're choke artists. We'll see. We'll see. Obviously, it's a big win, a huge win. You could have went down and you could have crumbled. They could have absolutely just been terrible and just wilted because the Boston Celtics were making everything. You couldn't stop them. If they wanted to go to the lane, they could at all times. And you saw they were shooting 75% at halftime. That's absurd. Absurd. Jason Tatum had 30 at half. Jaylen Brown had 20. Jaylen Brown was quiet in the second half. And that was a big reason why the Sixers were able to hang in there. And they didn't play great defense in the second half. Boston just was not good. They were making shots. They were getting, but you just never felt like they were a dominant team that was ready to pull away and just take your heart out like you have had in the past. You had that one play with like a minute 45 left where they had 2 offensive rebounds where Al Horford just grabbing everything, and then they finally made a bucket. I think it might have been an and one. And you're like, uh-oh, we might be screwed here. Going down 3 or 4. Sixers didn't panic, go down. Paul Reed. That's what B-ball Paul do, baby. And he was an absolute stone cold killer, swishing 4 free throws at the end of the game to ice it. I mean, that's what B-ball Paul do. He gets a big defensive play after he didn't play a lick of defense all game. Oh, what a great win. What a great team win. Melton got hot early for you, and that was very much needed. Very much needed Melton to hit those big shots in that first half, or else it could have got real ugly. Niang he played okay. McDaniels had a couple good offensive rebounds. PJ Tucker was all over the place. He doesn't show up much on the stat line anymore, but you see his difference making that when he turns it on. That's what you're paying him $30 million for, to be a bully almost. And they got the job done. I mean, just looking at it a little bit here, 39 for Tatum after he had 30. Jaylen Brown, 23 after he had 18 at halftime. That was the difference in the game. Those guys, they went to Marcus Smart on the last play of the game for them. The 2 of the last plays of the game. You went to Marcus Smart with 8 seconds left. After Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, I guess they were banged up. That's the only thing I could think of why you would not have gone to them, or maybe because you outthought yourself and think, all right, everybody knows it's going to Tatum or it's going to Brown, so we're going to go to Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart was banged up himself, and you went to him for the last shot of the game. You have 2 dominant, almost superstar players. Tatum is a superstar, and you went to Marcus Smart. That's coaching. That's terrible, and I'm excited. Gives you hope, because the big man, you put him in there, that 75% shooting, all those points in the paint, it goes to half at least, right? You have to give it to him. At least half. It'll be cut. Just from his presence in there alone. That's the difference maker that Joel Embiid can give you. And people sleep on his defense still. They think that he just lets him go and just walk off. There's people out there, Guru, that think he doesn't play defense at all. You see the difference a Joel Embiid's defensive lineup makes. None of that happens. That team does not score that many points with Joel Embiid in there. Maybe it's a different atmosphere, but maybe it's a different way of them getting points, but they're not getting point after point in the paint where they're just going at it. So hopefully the big fella can get healthy, because I don't know how many more games you have 45 points in James Harden. Hopefully you got a couple more in him in this playoff stretch here, because you're going to need it, but you can't be banking on it right now. But damn, that was awesome. Probably the best win the Sixers have had in 5 years plus. Stay high, right? Like, that was probably the best win they've had since the 2002 run, 01 run. And it's sad because it's the second round of the playoffs, but it's the truth. They've had to get that monkey off their back, and we threw it, and we put it right in the bagster. And it's a good game, game 1 out there in Boston. It's going to be interesting. I didn't get a chance to watch the press conferences. I hopped on here, see kind of what the Celtics guys are saying after that, because they were all, none of them had that killer instinct look to them. Al Horford had it for a second, but go after him all day long, baby. Go after him. Toby had a solid game. He misses him. He's like physical, but then he's not. And he backs him down, and then he's just like, and he like breaks it. I'm like, Toby, just go up strong, bro. You're bodying these guys. Tyrese he could have wilted big time. And that was a huge narrative going into this 10 games, him struggling against these better teams, especially against Boston. He didn't play his best. He only made 2 3-pointers. He was jacking them up at the end there. I know RL had a bet. Yeah, 2 for 9 from 3. He needed 3 threes. RL did. And I know he was sweating on all of them, and he was bricking a lot of them. Wasn't his best shooting performance, but he was all over the place. He was the guy that when Harden was taking it slow and backing guys down and eyeing things up and pick and roll, and then Maxey would get it and go. It was a good change of pace. It was a great change of pace that they needed, because the slow methodical If you start missing shots like they did at the start of the fourth quarter, it could have got away from them, but they got some timely rebounds, some timely plays. They barely shot any free throws. God, up until the end of the fourth quarter, I think they only had 2, right? Nuts. Great win. And I mean, what can you say at this point? Hopefully we get the big fella back. Maybe this changes things. Maybe they go and they just roll that out again one more time. I don't love that. I'd rather you have them where you want them. Go and put the foot on your throat. Go for that 2-0 lead. It'll be interesting to see where his health is, number one, obviously. And number two, how they want to strategically play it. If you sit him in game 2 now, give him that extra rest and then have him come home. Give him that MVP trophy at home in game 3 and the crowd behind him and the electric factory that it'll be in the Wells Fargo Center. Maybe. Let me know in the comment section what you think they should do moving forward. Thank you, everybody out there for listening. Phillies, I just gave up a solo home run as I look up at the TV. But the Fightins are back. Bryce Harper's back. I didn't even get into that. Bryce is back. Let's go. I'm going to the game Friday. If you're going to be there, hit me up. Let's have some fun. Bryce is going to be playing tomorrow, probably DHing. The guy's a freak. Bryce Harper needs to give his antibodies, his, I don't know, red blood cells, white blood cells, whatever cells, and cartilage and everything, and try to infuse it into Joel Embiid, because Bryce Harper heals in no time. It's absurd the way this guy can treat his body and get healthy. Bryce, help Joel out. Give him your doctor or whatever, because he needs it. We need the big fella moving forward. It's going to be an exciting run here. Let's go, baby. Play the song. Play the song.